Hey, it's Elizabeth Purvis, creator of Feminine Magic, founder of Goddess Business School, the Feminine Magic School of Manifesting. And I wanted to shoot this short video for you to talk to you a little bit about Jim and Cindy Padilla and my experience with them and gain the edge as our sales team. So I'll just straight up, I'll say Jim and Cindy have changed my life completely. And when I found GTE a few years ago, I was at the lowest point in my business. Well, maybe not the lowest point, but it was a very challenging time because I had just let go of the person on my team, the one person on my team who was doing sales. And all of a sudden I was trying to manage a sales team on top of everything else I was doing. And I say the word team lightly because it was really, people who were stepping up and trying to help. But if you have any experience with sales, you know that people who are stepping up and trying to help, as well-intentioned as that is not going to get you the results that you want. So all my time was going to sales and it wasn't working, and I was getting very, very frustrated. I was getting very disheartened, and of course our cash flow was going in the tank. So enter Jim and Cindy. I will never forget this. I was out on my deck outside. I'm here in my home office, and I was outside on my deck, and I get this text from a friend of mine. And the text was, "Elizabeth, I found a guy." I was like, I need the guy, And so I talked to Jim, and honestly, words kind of can't describe what happened after that. It was such a breath of fresh air, first of all. I was like, holy cow, this guy knows more about sales than me. And, there are a lot of people out there who know a lot about sales and know more about sales than me. It's very rare that I find myself talking to them about being my sales team leader. And I was like, holy cow, this guy knows his stuff. He is totally solid. We also have a rapport. There's no question about it. I was just like, oh my goodness, this person is on my level, and I can have the high level conversations about enrollment that are so important to me. Because again, I love sales, and what happens with sales in our team means a lot to me. So I was like, yep, you're in. Like, that's that. And the first month, okay, the onboarding month, we made $55,000 in sales immediately. Nice, especially when you're like dying for sales at that point. And then the month later, which was a slow month because we were building up to our launch, that was $21,000 in sales. So that was pretty great. I'm like, all right, I can breathe a sigh of relief. But the real magic came the next month, which was my very first product launch formula style launch with partners. I've used PLF for years. I got a copy in 2008, but I'd never done a full bore like partner style launch. And that launch was a 1997 product, so $2,000 product, which requires some things to sell, especially to my peeps. To my peeps, that's the number at which people start to need to talk to you on the phone. Not everyone will, but a significant portion needs to talk to you on the phone. And so you have to, if you want to maximize that opportunity, you got to have someone there. So that launch, long story short, did $450,000. It was a $500,000 launch. Very nice. And when I looked at the stats, I had closed, about half those people from teleseminars. I had done the closing on half of them, and Jim and Cindy's team did closing on the other half. So they were directly responsible for over $200,000 in sales. And I was just like over the moon happy and overjoyed. And I remember Jim said to me, this was back in the day, so they've got this handled. But he actually said to me, the only problem we had, Elizabeth, was with capacity. He said, I know we missed sales opportunities because we didn't have enough people. And I'm like, that is not a bad problem to have. That's fine. This is launch one. We'll do better next time. But we did really well. And the real kicker was what happened on cart close night. So on cart close night, you're staying up and you're watching the returns roll in, and it's like the best thing ever. And most people that I know, most of my colleagues on cart close night are like, they're either nail biting or they're stressing, or they're the ones on the sales page, manning or womaning all of the last minute questions. What was I doing on cart close night as those sales just rolled in? I was packing to take my family on like a 3-day getaway right after the launch. And I was just like, wow, this is how it's supposed to be. So I was very pleased. That was kind of the big start of what had already started as a successful collaboration. And then it's just gotten better from there. Like they duplicated that launch the next year. So we made another it was another $450,000 launch the year after that. And, you know, so it's been consistent is what I'm trying to say. And also that first year, so after that first big launch, a few months later, I decided, after much hemming and hawing and gnashing of teeth and do I really want to do this or not kind of thing, I decided that I was going to create and offer a high-end mastermind for the end of the year. $20,000 price point. I got on the phone with Jim and his top strategist, and we sat down and we got really clear who those people were going to be, what was going to be required of them, and what the qualifications were to be part of the mastermind, what the positioning was going to be, what the energy was going to be that I was going to carry, what our strategy was going to be. And, you know, this is a $20,000 mastermind. These are people that are going to be working really intimately with me. We had like 12 spots. Well, fast forward a couple of weeks and all of those 12 spots plus 2 were filled. So not only did they fill it, they oversold it. Of course, they asked me as we went. I'm like, oh yeah, let's keep going. You know, 14 is about my cap. But the really cool thing is that was the best mastermind, hands down, that I have ever run. And the people in it were phenomenal. So not only did they fill it and oversell it, they filled it and oversold it with people that I truly love, care about, and adore. And they were just the perfect ideal clients for it. And I got on the phone with like one person. There was one person who was doing like the 1 foot in, 1 foot out. She didn't actually end up signing up, but that was the only time I got on the phone. I got on the phone with the sales strategist and was, you know, talking to them and finding out the intel and stuff, but I never had a sales conversation. So that's some of the magic that I've experienced with Jim and Cindy. And I just, you know, words can't express what a relief and what an amazing feeling it is to have dedicated sales peeps who truly care. And that's the thing. I get a lot of people asking me, because people know I've had a lot of success with Jim and Cindy, and a lot of people ask me like, well, what's it like working for them or working with them, and you know, how do I be successful? And there were some best practices, let's say, that I adopted right from the start and I was very clear on. Because here's the thing, this isn't going to work for you if you're the kind of person that just wants to check out. You're like, okay, I'm gonna hand this off and I'm gonna check out. Regardless of who's on the phone, sales in my company are my responsibility, like period, hands down. So it's not about, you know, just handing it off and walking away. It's also not about crazy micromanagement. I'm actually pretty hands-on. Like I monitor sales, I watch what's happening, I give my input and stuff. But I also let them do what they're there to do. I let them be in their brilliance, because Jim and Cindy invest a ton of time, energy, and attention. I have seen it over the past 2 years plus of the amount of care and love and commitment to excellence that they bring in training their strategists. Are they perfect? No, right? Who is? But I don't care about that. I don't care about like every single last conversation going perfectly. I don't care about every last knob twiddle in a launch. I care about the big picture. You know, I care about, because this is the kind of relationship that you want to make and keep in your business. This is the kind of, like, building this kind of relationship like I'm building with Jim and Cindy. It's going to pay dividends over the long haul. I often tell Jim I want him doing my sales conversations 10 years from now. You know, so number one, I don't micromanage. Number two, I look at the big picture. I'm always looking at the big picture. Number three, I am present and involved. You know, if Jim and Cindy ask me to do something, I do it. My job is to make sure that the peeps who are on the phone, before they get on the phone, are ready to have that conversation. And so Jim and I will spend a lot of time strategizing about what needs to happen before people get on the phone. And then I make myself completely available to do whatever it is that they ask me to do in order to prepare people. I respect Jim's expertise. I have a lot of sales expertise. I have, in my own company, brought in 5 million in sales collectively over the years, through my sales copy and other and teleseminars and all that. So I'm no slouch when it comes to sales. And I also really respect Jim and Cindy and Jim's expertise. So we collaborate. And that's the thing. If you want a collaboration, if you want a long-term relationship, if you want people that are truly going to care, and you want to really up-level how you're showing up with regard to sales, then you definitely want to have a conversation with Jim and Cindy and see what's possible. All right. All of my love to you. Bright blessings.